Rank the albums. The Distillers and a bit more. I specifically mean the works of Brodie Dahl, an Australian punk who's endured many hardships, who moved to California as a teenager to go where her sound is from. The available material of her teenage Australian band is impressive, but there's not much of it. In Kelly, she formed the Distillers, whose first album is a hardcore hurricane. This is awesome music with something to say, something a bit garbled to say, but her scream is already on incredible form. It's got very poor production. It actually sounds like it was saved in too low quality in MP3, like 96 kbps or something. The recent remastered version improves on that, but it wasn't released on CD. I'm kind of used to this amazing work sounding a bit wet. Definitely check out the remaster and not the original, but as I put these discs in order, I might have to consider just how this sounds. Still though, the songs on here pack a volley of punches, an ultra combo. It's a very worthy listen, it's some of the best punk rock. As the band got more refined, a lot of their work became more essential, and some of their work became more disposable. For a punk blast of an album, I wouldn't want to tolerate any filler. But also, it goes by so quickly that it doesn't really matter, and you just remember the great songs. The Distillers lineup wasn't very consistent, with Brodie being the only member who stayed throughout, but they knew how to punk rock, and she in particular knows how to shred and scream. Both of these first two albums are absolutely turbocharged. I think the average quality of the content here is a smidge below the debut, except for literally the sound quality. So it's going there, but you still really need to hear that one as well. It's just such a rush of a band. You can hear Rancid in there, and you can hear Hole, but the Distillers distill it to just the fury of punk. I've mentioned Hole, and the Distillers' third album brings in some Celebrity Skin vibes. It's that cleaner version of absolute filth, and it works brilliantly. By this point they were ready for prime time, but they were still hella wild punk rockers. It's a bit more personal than political now, but she really knows how to express her emotions at this point, so she made the transition at the exact right time. Sadly, there is a bit of filler, but it doesn't bring it down too much. It kind of is toward the end. By then, you've had the absolute blood rush of the most of the album. There's a bit more of the medium pace now, but they really know how to attack the medium pace. Just as blazing as the fast stuff. I'm gonna call that the Distillers' best work, and I don't think many people will argue with me. But the whole thing, it won't take long to listen to, and you really should. Then, of course, I kept the faith with Brodie, and she resurfaced with a new kind of band called Spinneret. I guess she had consistent collaborators throughout this disc, but she could have still called this the Distillers if she wanted to. I wouldn't. I don't think it's a good idea to file this as Distillers, but I think it's really underappreciated for what it is. Yeah, we're less in the realm of punk by now, but it's delicious alternative rock. As well as her amazing harsh voice, Brodie has found a pretty awesome sweet voice by now. There's just a few more flavors to explore here. I really find this such a thrill. I think it's very underappreciated, and it can easily sit among the Distillers albums. It's going among them. Then came a solo album, and again, I don't know what makes this more of a solo album. She could have still called this Spinneret. Doesn't matter, it's just branding. I know what I'm buying. I just wish it was worth buying. Though you wouldn't expect it for a solo branded work, the first bit of this is absolutely full speed punk. But it just sounds pretty crap. It sounds really robotic. For one very obvious reason, which is they're playing to a click track. You can put a click track over 200 beats per minute, and it still won't sound actually wild because it's tamed to a click track. The mix of this in general is oppressive, and I like my stuff loud, but this is often messy. And when it gets past halfway and gives up on even being fast, it's quite hard to retain the faith. This is gonna have to go down here. I went to see Brody live in 2018. There was this Queens of the Stone Age all dayer that advertised her doing an acoustic hit set. I thought, what a great chance to see her raw, up close and intimate on her awesome historic material. I'll even go to bloody London for that. I'll do my best to avoid Josh Homme's boots and brave the train and the tube and the expenses and the sunlight and the festival crowd. I got up front real early for Brody, and this neighbouring punk told me, "It's not acoustic, you know her solo album from like 4 years ago, don't you?" And I'm like, well, I heard it. And yeah, I missed the Hives for that. Oh well, the songs worked a bit better outside of that awful production. The Distillers are reformed their Coral Fang lineup, and I understand there's new work, there's some audible new work. But right now, here's what we've got. 4 essential listens and 1 damp squib. And yeah, one of the essential listens sounds a bit damp itself. It's such an important energy that this band and Brody have. I think her work can be called the epitome of thrash punk. And you should leave this video and hear it.